Good afternoon and welcome to the June 15th, 2023 regular meeting of the Forsyth County Board of Commissioners. We're going to begin our meeting today with a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Bessie. And if you're able, I'd like to ask you to stand. Thank you.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Citizens who are interested in participating in the public portion of the meeting, I have a number for you to call, 336-422-1200. And you will be placed on hold until the public session begins. And any member of the audience who wishes to speak can actually turn in a speaker card to our deputy clerk, Rosalind Covington, over here, and the cards are actually outside the door if you do not have one. And the first item on the agenda is a resolution authorizing the submission of a request for count question resolution to the U.S. Census Bureau to correct its mistake in the Forsyth-Davidson County border. And our attorney, Gordon Watkins, is going to give a brief overview of that request, and then we'll take action.
And Mr. Chairman, before we start with that, you might want to note for the good of the order that we have, I believe, one commissioner participating remotely.
Yeah, is Commissioner McDaniel on? Yes, sir. Very good. So in our votes, we will take roll call votes for her.
You don't necessarily have to. You certainly may. But you do need to give her an opportunity to vote, and there can be sometimes a second or two lag in the audio.
Yes.
But Commissioner, could you confirm that you're present, Commissioner McDaniel?
Chairman, I am present.
Thank you.
Coming out of the speakers, it sounds like you're omnipresent all around us. A voice from above. Thank you, Commissioner McDaniel, and we're glad you're feeling better, and I'm glad you could join us remotely. All righty, Mr. Attorney.
Yes, sir, and I'm happy to provide the board as much detail as you'd like, but basically this is a resolution by which this board, and specifically the chairman as the highest elected official of Forsyth County, would authorize Shelley Bowen and MAP Forsyth to submit what's called a count question resolution, or CQR, case to the U.S. Census to correct a mistake they inadvertently made in the 2020 census regarding a small portion of the border, or what they call a boundary, between Forsyth County and Davidson County. I'm happy to answer any questions anyone has.
Any questions for Gordon? Do we have a motion?
Move approval.
Motion approved by Vice Chair Wisenhunt.
Second.
We have second by Commissioner Plyler. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye, and we'll make sure we listen. Aye. We're listening for you, Commissioner McDaniel.
Aye.
Thank you. All right. The next item on the agenda, we're going to have a proclamation recognizing the accomplishments of Richard Geiger on the occasion of his retirement as Visit Winston-Salem President. And he is here, and I'd like to ask you to come up, please, Rich. And our Vice Chair, Gloria Wisenhunt, will actually read the proclamation. And I think we're going to invite we have a number of your board members and supporters who are here.
I've had the pleasure of serving on the tourism board as the commissioner from County Commissioners, and so this is a kind of a bittersweet day. Rich is going to retire, but he certainly deserves this proclamation. I'll get it out in a minute. Okay, this proclamation is recognizing the accomplishments of Richard Geiger on the occasion of his retirement as Visit Winston-Salem President. Whereas Richard Geiger is an accomplished hospitality industry professional with more than 40 years of destination marketing, strategic planning, staff development, sales, and sales training. Whereas Richard Geiger has held top sales and marketing positions for the Orlando Orange County Convention and Visitors Bureau, as well as the CEO for the Buffalo Convention and Visitors Bureau, responsible for managing the Convention Center, Sports Corporation, and the Film Commission. Whereas Richard Geiger has served since 2010 as president of the Forsyth County Tourism Development Authority, also known as Visit Winston-Salem, and has worked strategically and tirelessly to promote, market, and sell Forsyth County and Winston-Salem as a desirable destination to visit, meet, and live for the economic benefit of the entire community, while overseeing a staff of 17 and an annual budget of $6 million. Whereas Richard Geiger has been a strong advocate for the continued economic development of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, he has proudly served on the boards of Downtown Winston-Salem Partnership, the Greater Winston-Salem Chamber of Commerce, and the Arts Council of Winston-Salem, Forsyth County, and has committed was committed to the $20 million reinvention of the Benton Convention Center. Whereas Richard Geiger is the dedicated husband to Tracy Geiger, proud father of their two sons, Matthew and Andrew, and a lifetime fan of the New York Yankees, the New York Rangers, and the New York Giants.
Yay.
You're going to have to find a North Carolina.
Looking for North Carolina team.
Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Forsyth County Board of Commissioners hereby recognize the exemplary service and accomplishments of Richard Geiger and thank him for his outstanding, distinguished service to the citizens of Forsyth County. Proclaim this 15th day of June 2023.
I'll second that motion. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Thank you, Rich.
We have just a few little things for you.
Thank you.
And here's your proclamation, and I want you to know that the county manager personally made this frame.
Right.
So forgive my carpentry skills.
The county manager's not used to seeing me in this building without asking him for something. We need some more, soccer fields and lacrosse fields up at BB&T. I know I can't say BB&T anymore, but Truist Field and all those things. Thank you. Thank you, Dudley. Thank you, Gloria.
You want to say a few words?
Sure. Just a couple. I don't need to say much more. You pretty much covered my entire professional career. But I do want to say, when I got here in 2010, we were coming off we were still dealing with the Great Recession. And, I think unemployment in Forsyth County was about 10.5% when I got here. So things obviously have changed tremendously. And after that, things, and I think in a large part, what helped this community recover is in large part what happened from the convention and tourism industry and the travel industry. Restaurants started filling up again, hotels started filling up again, occupancy tax started coming in again, and I will tell you, since that point, year over year, we saw significant increases in our revenue, in our hotel revenue, and number of visitors who are here. And in 2019, we welcomed in Forsyth County a record number of 2 million out-of-town visitors. So there's a lot of great things going on in this community, and I think I think one of the most things I'm proud of, I think people are beginning to realize the incredible impact travel and tourism industry has on our community, on the coffers of the tax revenue, occupancy tax, sales tax, and tax dollars helps everyone and helps the residents of this community too. And the reality is, I'm just one person. I really like to think that today is a celebration for the travel and tourism industry in Forsyth County, and all these people really are the ones that really make it happen. As much as incredible board leadership that I have been strategic, and allowed us to do what I think professionals are supposed to be doing, and then incredible staff, particularly my three directors, Christian, Jennifer, and Marquita. We've been through a lot of different things and would not have been able to dig out from the pandemic without them and the leadership of the board, and Mr. Wise, who was the chair at the time, and Dana Bryson, the chair now. It just, and I can't say enough about the lady on my left. Really my favorite. I wouldn't say that in front of her. She has been always represented the county, but always looked at the bigger picture from an economic development perspective. We talked about investing in the convention center and all those other things. A stellar representative from the commissioner, and really someone I consider a friend and a colleague, someone I really care about, who did a great job for us. Dudley and Terry Goodman. We act kind of as a quasi-government, so I got the business side real good, but the government side, sometimes I struggle with, and Terry and Dudley have helped me, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention Paul Fulton, who I worked for a long time too. But thank you. I'm very honored on behalf of the hospitality
Hey,
community.
Richard, this is an opportunity for me. I've been thinking about it ever since you became the man that you are in this community. When Mrs. Wisenhunt read the word Orange County, I thought, yes. There's only one problem. I was born in Orange County, California. But you don't have to worry about that in retirement, so.
No.
And they grow oranges out there, too.
They do in Florida too, Orange County. Actually, the oranges in Florida, Orange County, are ones that we eat. Most of the oranges grown in Florida actually is where juice comes from.
Really?
It should be part of the minutes. There you go. But thank you. I'm honored, and I greatly appreciate our relationship that we've had, and my relationship with the county has been stellar. And Bubby's leadership and Terry's leadership, and of course, Commissioner Wisenhunt. Thank you. Actually, I'm sorry, my wife. I don't know if I acknowledge my wife. I mean, I'll hear about that at home, but my wife Tracy, she's been my wife for 35 years, and I couldn't do any of this without her, for
Are
sure.
any of the other board members, would you like to say a word or two?
I'll say something. Laura.
Okay,
I'll
come
say
on, Dana.
something.
Dana is the chair.
I'm the chair. I haven't quite prepared the retirement speech yet, but this is a great man. You know, he's a lot of muscle despite his stature, compared to me anyway. But if he had not said it, I was going to say there's always a strong woman behind the man, and that is Tracy. I mean, she deserves recognition. I know it's your day, but I definitely want to say that, Tracy. And kudos to the great team that he has built and led, and just all the ingredients that makes us special. But the tourism, that department component of what makes us special in economic development is attributed to his leadership and the team that he's built since 2010. So I just wanted to applaud his efforts.
So that the county is behind us. Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Everybody, staff. See, we signed it. I saw that. That's really. I started.
Show your teeth.
Need this in tighter?
Come on.
Whoops.
Marquita, there's a spot right here. Right here, come on. Come on. Quick about it.
Don't be shy.
She's going to hide.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rich, thank you.
I saw it.
Thank you, Richard. Yes, sir.
Don't forget Richard.
Happy retirement.
The next item on the agenda is a proclamation recognizing the accomplishments of Lee D. Garrity on the occasion of his retirement as city manager of Winston-Salem. And this proclamation will actually be presented to Mr. Garrity at his retirement celebration on June the 26th. But Commissioner Bessie actually will read the proclamation today.
Proclamation recognizing the accomplishments of Lee D. Garrity on the occasion of his retirement as city manager of Winston-Salem. Whereas Lee Garrity has served the citizens of the city of Winston-Salem since December 3rd, 1990. Whereas Lee Garrity was appointed city manager on July 14, 2006, and has diligently and capably served in this capacity for more than 17 years. Whereas Lee Garrity made city government operations more efficient by city-county inspections and planning departments combining into the Department of Planning and Development Services, streets and stormwater departments combining into the Field Operations Department, minority/women's business enterprises, and the Small Business Administration combining into the Office of Business Inclusion and Advancement, and by creating the Office of Sustainability and adding a Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Division to the Human Relations Department. And whereas Mr. Garrity has provided steady and innovative leadership through many difficult challenges, including the Great Recession and the COVID-19 pandemic, now therefore be it proclaimed that the Forsyth County Board of Commissioners hereby recognizes the exemplary service and accomplishments of Lee D. Garrity and thanks him for his outstanding and distinguished service to the citizens of Winston-Salem and Forsyth County. Mr. Chairman, I move approval.
I second that motion. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Thank you, Commissioner McDaniel. Good. All righty. The next item on the agenda is a resolution recognizing June 19th, 2023 as June 19th National Independence Day in Forsyth County. And our Commissioner Woodbury is actually going to read the proclamation, and I believe we have Zuri Sweat is here to receive. She is the queen of the Juneteenth Triad Cultural Arts group from the Triad Cultural Arts. And please come forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Martin. And to the rest of the commissioners, I would like to say that Zuri Sweat is a graduated senior of West Forsyth High School. So we congratulate her on that awesome accomplishment. I would like to let you all know that it was a hard decision for Ms. Sweat to decide to attend UNC Chapel Hill on a full scholarship instead of going to an HBCU, which is an historically black college or university. And by way of this scholarship, the winner would have to use the dollars to go to an HBCU. So she and her parents thought hard and long about what's the best decision. And we fully support her decision to attend one of the best schools that we have in North Carolina, which just so happened to be my alma mater. I graduated from UNC Chapel Hill in 1996, so it comes full circle. And Dr. Martin, you should know that had it not been for the leadership of Dr. Ken Simonton, we would not be able to even offer the scholarship through Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools with the UNCF workplace campaign. So thank you all for allowing me to share that. The resolution recognizing June 19th, 2023 as Juneteenth National Independence Day in Forsyth County, North Carolina. Whereas news of the end of slavery did not reach the southeastern states until months after the conclusion of the Civil War, almost 2.5 years after President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation on January 1st, 1863, whereas on June 19th, 1865, Union soldiers led by Major General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas with news that the Civil War had ended and the enslaved were free. Whereas African Americans who had been slaves in the South celebrated June 19th, commonly known as Juneteenth National Independence Day, as inspiration and encouragement for future generations, whereas African Americans from the South have continued the tradition of observing Juneteenth National Independence Day for more than 150 years, whereas Juneteenth National Independence Day began as a holiday in the state of Texas and is now celebrated in 46 states and the District of Columbia as a special day of observance in recognition of the emancipation of all slaves in the United States. Whereas Juneteenth National Independence Day celebrations have been held to honor African American freedom while encouraging self-development and respect for all cultures, whereas the faith and strength of character demonstrated by former slaves and the descendants of former slaves remain an example for all people of the United States, regardless of background, religion, or race. Whereas slavery was not officially abolished until the ratification of the 13th Amendment to the Constitution of the United States on December 6, 1865, and whereas over the course of its history, the United States has grown into a symbol of democracy and freedom around the world. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Forsyth County Board of Commissioners recognizes the historical significance of Juneteenth National Independence Day to the United States and supports the continued nationwide celebration to better understand the experiences that have shaped the United States, adopted this the day 15th of June, 2023. Thank you.
I'll second that motion. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We'll wait for Commissioner McDaniel.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Any comments you'd like to make? Please.
Good afternoon, Forsyth County Commissioner and Board. My name is Zuri Sweat, and I'm your reigning inaugural Queen Juneteenth 2022 of the Triad Cultural Arts Queen Juneteenth Scholarship Pageant. I'm a graduate of West Forsyth High School, and I'm so glad to be speaking to you all today as an ambassador of the Queen Juneteenth holiday. My title is very important because I've had the pleasure of meeting amazing, influential men and women of Winston-Salem. I've been afforded many fantastic appearance opportunities to further my love of the arts, further my network, diversify my social impact platform, and promote the Queen Juneteenth pageant and holiday. I would like to share 3 local Black history facts and celebrate some of the history we are making locally in our county. The first person is actually someone I had the honor of sitting across in his Off the Cuffs podcast, Sheriff Bobby Kimbrough. Sheriff Bobby Kimbrough is the first African-American sheriff of Forsyth County. The second person is Dr. Shy Woodbury. She was the first African-American chair of the Winston-Salem Forsyth County School Board. The third person is Commissioner Maisie Woodruff, who was the first African-American to be elected as the Forsyth County Commissioner. There are so many African-American men and women who have contributed to making Forsyth County and the city of Winston-Salem an amazing place to live and raise families. I am honored to be your inaugural 2022 Miss Queen Juneteenth. Thank you.
Congratulations, Jerry. Good luck at UNC. All right. The next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes for the meeting of June the 1st, 2023. Do I have a motion?
Move approval.
Motion by Commissioner Plyler,
Second.
second by Vice Chair Wizenhunt. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries unanimously. Madam Clerk, do we have any calls or cards for the public session?
Mr. Chairman, we do not have any calls or cards today.
Oh, all righty. Well, thank you very much. Mr. Manager, we are ready to continue.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, board members and staff and guests. We do have some business items for consideration this afternoon. We have reviewed these over a couple sessions, and hopefully have gotten all your questions answered, so I'll dive into it. Agenda item 7 is a resolution ratifying and authorizing joint applications by Forsyth County and the Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools to receive $3,725,026 from the Education Lottery Fund to retire a portion of the county's school bond indebtedness. You got an associated amendment to the state public school building capital fund grant project ordinance. This essentially incorporates lottery funds into the debt leveling strategy and is used to offset the debt as outlined in the resolution.
Have a
Move
motion.
approval.
Motion by Vice Chair Wizenhut,
Second.
second by Commissioner Plyler. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries unanimously.
Very good. Agenda item 8 is an amendment to the State Public School Building Capital Fund Grant Project Ordinance. It closes the 2013 and 2015 school bonds, and this will facilitate some final accounting in those funds.
Move approval.
Motion approved by Commissioner Plyler. I'll second that. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
All right. Agenda item 9 is an amendment to the fiscal year 2022-23 budget ordinance. It appropriates funds to comply with a new Government Accounting Standard Board, or GASB 87 lease and 96 subscription-based IT arrangement standard. Essentially guides the reporting of leased assets.
Move approval.
Motion approved by Commissioner Plyler. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Chair Wizenhut. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
She probably didn't know you're waiting on her, I bet.
Commissioner McDaniel.
And aye.
Well,
I
thank
don't
you.
think you guys are hearing me. I said aye.
It's good. We hear you good, well now. Thank you. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
All right. Agenda item 10 is an amendment to the fiscal year 2022-2023 budget ordinance that appropriates health improvement dollars to the Employee Health Benefits Internal Service Fund, essentially recognizes $75,000 that is part of the Cigna TPA agreement that we have that was competitively bid a number of years ago.
Move approval.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Plyler, second by Commissioner Bessie. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
All right. Agenda item 11 is a resolution awarding a contract for the purchase of 28 2023 Dodge Charger police pursuit vehicles split over a couple of fiscal years, essentially not to exceed $1,033,679.08, and they're purchased under the arrangement with the North Carolina Sheriff's Association.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion approved by Commissioner Plyler, second by Commissioner Linville. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Mr. McDaniel, are you there?
Yes, sir. I've voted. I said aye, sir. Maybe I need to be a little louder. I apologize.
There's no problem. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
All right. Agenda item 12 is a resolution awarding and authorizing execution of a contract with a Step Above Cleaning Service, LLC, for janitorial services at designated Forsyth County Parks and Recreation Facilities. It was competitively bid. It's the lowest bidder, and it's a 3-year agreement not to exceed $243,754.56.
Move approval.
Motion approved by Commissioner Plyler,
Second.
second by Vice Chair Wizenhut. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
All right. Agenda item 13 is an amendment to the Chapter 22 of the Forsyth County Code, Voluntary Agricultural Districts. Item B is associated. It's a resolution ratifying and authorizing the interlocal agreement between the town of Louisville and Forsyth County for the implementation of the Voluntary Ag District. Essentially allows Louisville to be included in that program.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion approved by Commissioner Plyler, second by Commissioner Linville. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item 14 is a resolution declaring certain county-owned personal property surplus and authorizing its disposition by public electronic auction utilizing the liquidity services operation, which is also called Gov Deals. Essentially, that'll set the stage for an auction. I was looking back. Kirby, you know the date that's going to go live that we can tell folks?
I think it's June 26th.
Okay, so folks need to be looking for that around in about a week. It should be live.
Move approval.
Motion approved by Commissioner Plyler,
Second.
Second by Vice Chair Wizenhut. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
All right, agenda item 15 is a resolution accepting an offer to purchase real property by negotiated offer advertisement upset bid procedure. It's 2530 Pittsburgh Avenue. Basically would accept the last bid, which is $100,000 offer from Boston Thurman, nonprofit, and the proceeds will be split with the city of Winston-Salem.
Move approval.
It's approved by Commissioner Plyler,
Second.
second by Commissioner Linville. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
And item 16 is the fuel surcharge franchise report. I took a look at it, and if I'm reading it right, that brings down that franchise cost by 63 cents in accordance with that.
Move approval.
It's approved by Commissioner Plyler,
Second.
second by Commissioner Linville. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. I believe we are at the end of the agenda. I'd like to have a motion to adjourn, and we will take a 5-minute recess to switch over.
Move we adjourn.
Motion adjourned by Commissioner Plyler. I'll second that. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Back in session. Welcome to now the June 15th briefing. And this is actually the briefing for our June 29th, 2023 meeting, 2 weeks from today. We have no discussion items for today. We do have a fairly lengthy agenda, and you're going to cover the other part later. So I'm going to turn it over to the county manager. There we go.
I'll do the highlights of it. When I mentioned, when I sent out my advance email this morning, I mentioned that we have a discussion, a morning session scheduled for next Thursday that had been on the calendar. We started doing some work around planning for that. We could certainly fill that morning up, but just coming off budget and everything else, it would take a little bit to try to do that. And some of the items, like a discussion of the state budget, for example, we will not have clarity as we enter next Thursday. And so, in talking with the chair and vice chair, perhaps it makes sense to just push that one off, and we could actually push it off because July gets really wonky, and so just push it off to an August morning session. Lots of work to do and lots of things to discuss, but unless the board members want to come in and kind of dig into any issue kind of immediate, I'll leave it up to y'all, but whether or not you want to cancel or postpone that one.
There seems to be no appetite to just jump in and have another meeting on that in the morning next
Yeah,
morning.
do you want next Thursday morning off? So it might help us just, and it would help us be, I think, better prepared on some other items. And a few items that we had, we're just going to kind of embed in the briefing side of things because they are related. So anyway, so next Thursday is canceled, off.
I think the staff saw enough of us last week.
This was not staff-driven. This was, we would love to be here at 10 o'clock next Thursday if y'all want to see our smiling faces. Or
When you say we would love, how many of the we are?
just look at that. I mean, they
Both
are
of them.
eager. Look at all of them. That's right. We live for this. So, it's good.
You can certainly come in individually and harass you in your offices if you want. So
That's right.
If you'd like a little company, it could probably be arranged.
Yeah. All right. Well, actually, if y'all cancel next Thursday, I'll figure Thursday out. I'm actually city and county managers are meeting, and I'm doing a session during the conference that I'm going to facilitate, and so I may or may not be here next Thursday. So we'll see. But I was gonna push that and just drive them down in the evening, but maybe I'll get them down. So, all right, very good. So we have the items for June 29th. This is the last formal meeting of the fiscal year. I hope that we don't add anything, but there's a slim chance, as always, as everybody's preparing for year-end stuff, that we might have to walk something in. But right now we've got a pretty good agenda, and I hope that doesn't happen, but it could. Under special resolutions, what you've got is a resolution amending a policy regarding settlement of certain negligence and tort claims against Forsyth County. You'll hear from Gordon next Thursday, but essentially, when we were negotiating the insurance contracts, there's some changes in that, and it sort of necessitated a change here. So that's part and parcel of that. We've got 3 budget and finance items. The first one is an amendment to the 2016 Schools Capital Projects Ordinance. We will try to get that one out as quick as we can. That is where the school board is moving some money around. It does relate back to all the board actions that were related to the additional bond proceeds that you granted them. That was almost 80 or last recollection was about $80 million, almost $90 million. We can get you the exact amount on that one as well, but that one will be of interest. I know you've got a resolution approving the community-based juvenile delinquency substance and gang prevention plan. Yes.
Sorry, County Manager. So we were supposed to see the list that the school board sort of decided what they would do with those dollars, and
Yeah, they did send something, and
did we all get that? I have seen it. I thought it came in
my recollection is it went out in an email, and then we put a hard copy in front of you, but it would have been very easy to miss because we did not have very much discussion.
Yeah, I think it was just on the here.
Yeah, I think that's right. But I think that'll be very relevant, and I'll make sure you have that in front of you as you discuss this item
Need
next
to get
Thursday.
that today and take a look at that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's complicated because you got to put it in context with all the other stuff, but we'll certainly have that. Juvenile prevention, substance abuse, gang prevention plan, a lot of conversations about that, so we'll see what that plan has for the year moving forward. County staff helps JCPC facilitate all that. Fire tax revenue, this is essentially where if we don't do this, we estimate fire tax proceeds, and if we don't increase it, then you'll have a budget violation when they come back and do the audit. And so Kyle's run the numbers based on what proceeds look like, and hopefully he's probably added a little to it so we won't have that violation. But that's a thing that if we don't do, sometimes we get dinged sort of unnecessarily, I feel like. But it also lets us go and distribute the money to the fire tax districts. Then you got a grant from GlaxoSmithKline Foundation that's going into public health. You've got interlocal agreements. That's really the SRO agreement with the schools, so we can dive into what changed year over year around that. And then you've got 4 community policing contracts, and we can dive into what changed over that. And that's where the communities the towns, through their tax levy authority, provide policing over and above the sort of the base level of policing provided by the Sheriff's Department in the communities that don't have police forces, so which is everybody except Kernersville and Winston. Contracts, you've got a number of contracts. You've got the P&G security guard contract, which has been top of mind around the staffing challenges at the detention center. You've got a jail health medical plan that we'll present to you. And in that, we're at behavioral. We've done so much around the behavioral health side. You'll hear from Denise on those 2 units that are in there and the good work that they are doing. You've got a resolution authorizing a term extension on a contract between Forsyth County and Seth Palmeter, I hope I said that right, Motivated Metal. That's a public art project that was kind of spanned fiscal years. So you'll hear from Damon on that one. You'll hear from tax folks about the mortgage style for foreclosure legal services. That's the shift in the legal the way we approach those that will allow us to get to some of this air property and actually make some headway on that. We've talked about that a lot. Item 13 is an exciting development in the continued kind of capital projects that we have. It's a contract to IL Long Construction for construction of the Smith Reynolds Airport Terminal Renovation Project. And that's going to set the stage for us to do we are going to do in August, I think August 3rd is the date we've got scheduled. We will go out to the airport that morning of the Thursday, and we will do a ribbon cutting on the 2 hangar project. And then you're going to literally turn in your seat a little bit, and we're going to do a groundbreaking on the terminal building project. And so it'll be a fun day. So that'll be a fun thing to have happen. Item 14, you got an agreement between Forsyth County and Wake Forest University Health Sciences for medical direction services for EMS. That's a contract that we have talked with the other hospital systems about, and it really does help deal with some challenges that we have, particularly with a very young staff and sort of the enhanced needs we have for medical direction, really from the doctor that kind of oversees our entire EMS, all 60,000 or so interactions that we have with residents when somebody calls 911. Property matters, you've got a number of those. You've got declaring some motor vehicles surplus. When you see that list, you'll be surprised at how many of them and how bad a shape they're in, actually. We've pushed those vehicles hard. Item 16, a resolution regarding a lease agreement between Forsyth County and Atrium on Wake Forest Baptist for lease of county-owned property. It was a long-term lease that I learned about a number of years ago. It's actually on the Forsyth Medical Center campus, and it's where Amos Cottage is, the Amos Cottage Services, which provide behavioral health services for youth. And it's kind of over at the back part of it where you go in the emergency entrance off Silas Creek, but it's a very nice facility that has been under a long-term lease through Wake Forest, now Atrium, and it is the long-term lease is expiring. The facility's in pretty good shape, and you'll hear from Kirby about they want to extend their occupancy there for a period of time, and but they have basically indicated to us they're not interested in continuing to stay at that location. So we'll have a piece of property that we'll have to do some noodling around what the disposition of that property is. So, but it's interesting, and Kirby can take you through what the facility looks like and what it is. You got a short-term agreement with Daymart Recovery Services. You actually have two of those, 17 and 18. That's some moves that are really going to be facilitated by the construction of the crisis facility that we're building over there. And so he can talk through that. And then you got two with Daymart, three with Daymart. Does that sound right? Okay. So, and all that's part of that. You have a whole bunch of appointments, and so please take a look at those and encourage folks. We'll probably close those next Wednesday if it's the normal schedule. Monday. So, yeah, so if you know folks who would be interested in serving, if you can encourage them to fill out the application over the weekend, that would be fantastic, and then refund. So pretty straightforward agenda. Like I said, it's the last meeting of the fiscal year, and we should be able to get on through it. And that is it, Mr. Chairman. So get out of here a little early for a change.
Record time. Any comment for the good of the order here?
I have one comment. I'm not sure I'm correct on this, but I think we're getting close to the rating periods for channels 2, 8, 12, and 45.
Yes.
That means that they want you to be watching one of them, and whoever gets number one makes more money. That's the economics of it. I do know, and I don't know how far along they are, that WXII is preparing a report on the problems, needs, and interests of the Forsyth County Jail in terms of people, the money we're spending on it, what dangers are involved, and I don't know, it would not be a bad idea to try to get the jump a little bit and talk to the sheriff and find out what he sees as critical needs, primarily because when you're trying to make some money, and television is an expensive business, recently the Winston-Salem Journal has had some pictures the size of this glass on the front page of the paper. And that's the first thing I always do is find out why they put that on the front page and what the problem is, if there was. So I'm just saying, at this point, I can't prove because I haven't talked to anybody, but there's a lot of interest going on right now at Channel 12 as to what we've got as a jail and how it's running and what are the problems and needs and interests that the commissioners can get involved with. I would rather take a look at it before anything happens. If it does happen, may not even happen, but at least have our act together. And that's basically all I had. That's what's on my mind.
Yeah, I think as evidenced by just the discussions we've had over the last little bit that we are all very concerned about that. And, so a lot of conversations I know at the staff level.
Chair Martin, quick
Sure.
question for the county manager. For the appointments, when will we get the, applications for the appointments for consideration?
Next Thursday, right?
Next Thursday.
You'll get a stack here that's at your place next Thursday, and we'll have a week to look at them.
Okay.
Because the appointments won't take place till the 29th. So you'll have a whole week.
But to the extent you can look at them and you know folks who might be interested, or you can cajole into being interested, it would be great so we can get some of those filled.
Online application, pretty straightforward, but that needs to be sent in by 10 o'clock Monday.
5 p.m. Monday.
5 p.m. Monday, the people who are interested in those items.
If perhaps the county manager could give us an update tomorrow, if possible, of just via email of which of these seats are going begging.
Okay.
Sufficient applications to fill the seat. That would give us an idea of what might be worth concentrating on in terms of.
Yeah, I think we can, that shouldn't be a problem at all. I would be, I will be glad to make sure that happens, but our amazing clerk staff does a great job with that, and they got a lot better handle on it than I do, but we'll make sure we'll get out to you the ones where maybe the ones that have just been carried over would be easy, and the ones that have been carried over, the ones that frequently are carried over, and they are hard. We ask a lot from volunteers in those, particularly in home, domiciliary home care type things. Home and Community Care Block Grant Advisory Committee always needs some folks, and Adult Care Home Community Advisory Committee is, those folks are doing amazing, difficult work, and so, yeah, we'll be glad to do that. So.
Thank you.
All right, anything else? A motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Platter, I'll second that. Stand adjourned.